small, tiny ego is so powerful.
It's not surprising when you think about it that the ego and individuality have only been around for what, 5,000 years. But it's not even that old. I mean, it's amazing to think that ability to think about oneself only emerged what 4,500 BC to 1,500 BC. The concept is not even that old.
Hmm.
And besides the fact that we've become so trapped in this sense of individuality, what happens is when we go into relationships, it seems that most, let's call them conditioned relationships, are just a way to fortify our self-image. But
Hmm.
we're doing this with the best intentions, of course. I mean, we do try to have beautiful, long-term, lasting, peaceful relationships. Those are certainly our intentions. But if that's your intention and you don't are not aware of the emergence of individuality, or if you're not aware of ego,
Hmm.
it's inevitable that you're going to run into trouble. So
Hmm.
we can't blame ourselves. We actually have to be quite gentle with ourselves in waking up to this, because consciousness, let's say, as Andrew calls it, the energy and intelligence that created the universe,
Right.
has been trapped in this sense of individuality for the past 5,000 years. And finally, we're waking up and going, wait a second, there's more to this.
Hmm.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, yeah. At the start was when I realized what's actually start to understand how I am conditioned and acting, and then when I finally understood that it's possible to do it differently and to evolve, then I wanted it to happen right away. I was like, I'm still not completely out of it. I have to say, I have to be, but I felt like, okay, I understand it now, and yeah, it is so clear. I mean, I started running around and explaining what I just discovered, sharing it,
Uh-huh.
and I was very shocked that that not everybody was jumping. Wow! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Eagle, that you told me. Let's do it. We're gonna change the world right now. And I was very
You were
surprised.
surprised. You were surprised, really? Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, I was. I was very surprised. I
Uh,
was.
uh,
I tell you because I felt that I discovered something very, very, very I mean, I discovered what life is all about. I felt like, and I felt okay. Now took me more than 50 years to understand it. Now, why should all the others wait so long? I want to share it, and I thought like everybody's gonna take it
mhm.
and jump on the wagon, and in 2 3 days we're gonna change the world, and the world is gonna be enlightened. And to my big surprise, it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
No, and I actually understood very slow that it's not gonna happen that fast like I want. Then I thought like, what are these 5,000 years that we are? You know, it's like, and then it was blowing my mind, and I understood that it's not gonna happen next week, and I have to calm down and use what you are calling awakened compassion.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. And you know, it's is as I say in this in the chapter on relevant on awakening relationships, the battle is twofold. The battle is between the resistance from the ego within. This is the first, as I call it, the first frontier, the first battle line. The second is then when you begin to introduce that into your relationships, because we are so conditioned to accept these endless situations of personal conflict in our relationships. So one of my favorite, you know, what I call the ego's dharma, the tenets of the ego's dharma is that conflict in long-term relationships is natural and normal.
Exactly.
Like nothing could be further from the truth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They even tell you that you grow through conflict.
It's suddenly I understand that it's not necessary, and that when you are awakened and not have this unhealthy ego driving you, then then you can do it differently. And
Yeah.
I thought that you might tell us a little bit how you can do it differently.
Sure,
Okay.
sure. And you know, just for those for anyone who may be listening to this video cast right now, or who downloads it in the future,
Hmm.
there are situations, and I know that you're, what did you tell me? You're up to about this chapter in the book, but maybe someday we can do a conversation on the fourth insight where I do speak about the one of the manifestations of an awakened relationship. And there actually, believe it or not, there are going to be situations in awakened relationship where it's going to be rather difficult. But the challenges that you'll be facing in those situations has to do with the product of the relationship. It has nothing to do with the personal aspects of the relationship or even with shadow. It there so it's not to say that let's say a relationship between two or more awakened individuals is not going to have its challenges, but it is nothing like what we now know to be challenges and conflict in our relationship, because now the challenges have to do with much wider and broader and greater aspects of those relationships for the sake of humanity.